When it comes to running and working with a wide range of runners, and this goes from first time new runners, people who haven't run for a long time, all the way up to very, very experienced runners, some of the common things that I see are making less decisions derived from what they've seen others do. So I think a lot of people need to focus more on themselves and what's right for them, and not chase some other perfect form that they've seen online or their favorite influencers' advice. So I think people need to be a little bit more intuitive with their body and get to know themselves and kind of work with what is right for them. I am Courtney. I'm a coach and creative community builder based in London. I'm training to be as fast and as powerful as possible. And in the short term, I'm training to do London Marathon. Extending the opposite leg. You're then going to do 2 pushes out of your right leg. Lunge, slide, push, push. Take your time with it. The floor is slippery and it is more about the mobility piece other than the push. All right, 3, 2, 1, off we go. I have a run club that's been going for 2.5 years now. It's called Rusty Runners. It's a sprint-based run club. I started it because I was always looking for an outlet to sprint at with a group that wasn't super serious like how I took it when I was younger. And I thought there was a gap between doing it for fun and doing it super competitively. There was not that gap, and I went for that gap. So today's session is a 90-minute run, and not too fussed about overall distance, but again, low-key at 5:59 on the dot will give us 15k, so anywhere between 14 and 16k would be good. The major differences between someone who runs well and someone who is just running is respecting it. There is no such thing as it was just a 5k. You need to respect all distances and manage your intensity, your change in volume across a period of time. And that isn't just based on how much mileage or how many minutes or how often you're running. It's all of those things, but it's also the intensity and other factors of life as well, like just all-round stress. Those people that kind of respect running usually tend to run more successfully. Right, so if there's someone who's never run before or never thought about how they run, I'd say the first step is doing exactly that.
So why not
it doesn't need to be some crazy science behind it. Sometimes awareness is all you need. Just bringing your mind to it can make all the difference. Just having a little check-in. Oh, okay, cool. Not being too deep with it. And the thing is, yes, we can all improve our form, but our form is always unique. So trying to run perfectly or what's perfect for someone else might not match your mechanics, your history, all that stuff. So I would say just bring some awareness to it, and then outside of that, don't overthink it. There's no perfect running form, and there's definitely no two people who run the same. So just see what works for you. Yeah, that's probably it. Mindful running. Elbows tucked into that body. We're going to do each drill twice, fewer drills, and we're going to do more repetitions of each one. When it comes to doing drills and through an extended warm-up, it's not necessarily to fix a problem. There's a few things that come out of it though. It is to give your body a neural drive into certain positions. You exaggerate some of the running positions, so you break down the stride into smaller pieces, and you're exaggerating it so your body feels comfortable in those spaces, so that when you do go for a run, again, like I said, slightly intuitively, hopefully you just find those positions again. You also want to build up conditioning because you're doing them on repeat and you're isolating that specific motion. You're kind of building up the conditioning, so whatever muscles or joints are doing that action are getting repetition in a safe environment to start to build up resilience, so that when you do go for your flat out sprints, you're kind of primed for it. It's also a movement screening opportunity because you'll be going through a warm-up, these extended warm-ups, and you might be doing straight leg marches where you're kind of using quite a lot of hamstring energy, and you're going, oh, actually, my left hamstring feels a little bit, or actually these felt really good today and they usually feel a bit stiff, or whatever it is. So I feel like going through these patterns and going through extended drills, extended warm-ups is an opportunity to screen your body to see how you're feeling on that day and maybe adjust the session to suit. It's free conditioning in a safe environment, and it's giving you a neural pattern so your body's like, oh, okay, I go into this space, it feels comfortable, it feels safe, this is normal to me. So if you're doing the drills with intent and repetitively over time, I think, yeah, it's a great tool to have to improve your running.
When it comes to marathons, people kind of like neglect the actual time it takes, and obviously the general assumption is the faster you do it, the harder it is, which of course in most cases is true, but big respect has to be given to, you know, those marathon runners that are doing it in more modest times, because running for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours is tough no matter what. So even if you got one of the elites to do a 5-hour session, they would be struggling no matter what pace it was. So, you know, that's why, you know, tying back to locking into respecting time and something that's consistent, you know, you got to kind of switch that mindset and be like, wait, in my training, I am running for 3.5 hours. I am putting 3.5 hours of exercise upon my body, regardless of the speed. And when you are running at more moderate paces, you are spending more time on the floor, which means the floor has more time to impact your body. So your joints, your muscles are working more often because your stride is smaller, but also working for longer because every rep, you know, even if it's just by milliseconds, it's taking a little bit longer. But over the course of a marathon, over the course of 42.2K, that's a lot of additional load. So yeah, as you're picking it up and going through those longer efforts, yeah, be mindful that you do also deserve to recover just as hard, if not more, than people who are doing quicker times and more speedier runs.
We'll do 4 times 80 meters with like a walk back recovery. So it's gonna be like about 70% effort, but yeah, get them gassed out, but not too gassy on the in terms of the nervous system.
Without recovery, the work doesn't mean as much. I know it's super cliche, but the recovery time is where all the magic happens. Whether you like it or not, the work itself is damaging, it's stressful to the body, your heart rate is elevated, nervous system is firing. Yeah, it's not good for the body in that specific moment, but it's how we recover from it. And if you're never giving yourself the opportunity to recover, then it's just going to be diminishing returns. It's just going to get harder and harder and harder, tougher and tougher and tougher. So I would say just stack, doesn't need to be crazy amounts, but just stack good habits, recovery protocols, whether that be mobility, how you rehydrate, how you refuel, your sleep, all that stuff. Like, just stack good habits so that like your body doesn't decide to stop you. Because if you don't stop and recover, your body will be like, oh, wait, I have no option. We're gonna have to burn you out, we're gonna have to injure you, we're gonna have to do something to make you stop. Time elapsed. I ain't doing 1 second extra. Done. There we go. Do you know what? It's also meant to be, yeah, look at this. I get motivation on my phone every day, yeah? And look at the motivation for today. It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
Recovery for me, with all the things that I have going on, has to fit in easily. I know how important it is, but I also know how easy it is not to do it, especially if you try to commit to too much. So what works for me is little and often. I just think about getting into like a little routine where I'm spending 10 to 15 minutes. I just commit to something small. And sometimes I commit to something so small, it almost seems like there's no point, but I just stack them on top of each other. And quite often, I'm just gonna do a quick 15-minute routine, turns into a 20, 25 or 2 15s back to back, or you know what I mean? Or I stay in a position a lot longer than I would have previously planned. But if I'd tried to commit to the 30 minutes, maybe I would have said, oh, I don't have the time, let me do this first and do that. So yeah, for me, when it comes to recovery, I just think little and often, don't stress it, and just kind of stack it.
So even though the lead up to this wasn't like a traditional marathon training block, I had a sprint event in between this, and I'm in the phase of trying to develop power and speed. So I thought, let me get creative with it, challenge myself as a coach, and I put together something that like I felt could potentially work, and I feel like it did. So I maintained strength training. I made sure I was getting adequate recovery, trying to sleep as much as possible, but also doing, I got a few sauna sessions in. I was doing consistent mobility, so not necessarily doing really, really long sessions on the mat, but definitely doing consistent work, trying to get in at least 15 minutes a day, and at least 5 days a week, and that really, really helped. But yeah, the strength training, the mobility, technique work from the track has helped a lot as well, because I feel like I was just running with more efficiency, so my body wasn't, doing as much work to run at a similar pace. So yeah, and yeah, just trusted it in the end, and with what some people would see on paper I think is not a lot of work, I managed to do what was have a good time and feel good, but also for me run a time that I didn't really think was on the card. So yeah, good time for me, and I had a good time. Marathon race day is harder than sprint race day, but sprint training is harder than marathon training. Like, that's it. I concede. We'll compromise.